The other thing about my proposal is that it would involve broadening the base of the income tax. And one of the things I would do, which would also make the states happy, is I would get rid of the state and local tax deduction, because arguably they wouldn't need it anymore, because they'd be saving so much money from Medicaid that they could use that to offset the effect of the less state and local tax deduction. So the other part of this is a broad income tax reform. And the nature of the income tax reform, which I outlined in the paper, is similar to proposals that have been made by Bill Gale. It's not dissimilar from the proposal made by Michael Gratz, except that in my system I wouldn't have the 100 million people not obligated for income taxes, because I think that would be a mistake, and it would feed into the concerns about so many people who are outside of the income tax system. Instead, what I would do would be to simplify the federal tax system enough so that most people didn't have to file a return, that there'd be final withholding by employers. And the basic idea is that there'd be a two-rate individual income tax system, a 15% rate, which would apply from the first dollar of income up to, I haven't worked out the exact revenue neutral thresholds, but up to $80,000 or $100,000 of income, and then a second rate of 25% beyond that. The standard deduction, personal exemptions, and other subsidies would all be they'd either be eliminated or they'd be converted into refundable tax credits. This is actually the way in which this syncs with what Fred's talking about. The basic idea is, instead of personal exemptions and standard deductions, that people would have an allowance, a refundable tax credit, which would be an allowance for themselves and for their children. And that would replace the standard deduction and the personal exemption. The advantage of doing that is that allowance is basically just cash. It doesn't depend on your income, and it could just be similar to the Gratz proposal. This could be either mailed to people in the form of a rebate, or it could be, he proposes that the money go into something like an ATM card, particularly for low-income people, that they could use to help finance consumption over the course of the year. The advantage of this system is that if the first dollar were subject to the 15% rate and most income were subject to the 15% rate, you could do exact withholding for almost everybody, except for the people in the higher bracket.